a prophet whose death was followed by the greatest punishment upon the Jews, a prophet whom Allah called his spirit in the Quran, and in whose name the largest religion in the world was established, a prophet who was given such miracles that were not given to any other prophet, a prophet who was raised to the heavens and will be sent back to this world at a specific time. His name was Prophet Isa, Jesus, peace be upon him. But how did this man, who came to teach people monotheism, get turned into a god? And how was the Bible changed? Let's find out. When the condition of Bani Israel had become extremely bad, their scholars had become corrupt. They had changed the scriptures and were selling religion for worldly benefits. They had altered the entire religion according to their own desires. On top of that, at that time, Palestine was under the rule of the Roman Empire, which oppressed the Jews severely. They imposed heavy taxes on them. Their condition was very poor. However, in their scriptures, there was a mention of a Messiah who would free them from this oppression. So, at that time, the Jews began waiting for this Messiah. They believed that this Messiah would come as a powerful king or warrior. But the opposite happened. One day, the angel Jibril came to the house of a pure and righteous woman in the form of a handsome man. This woman was Sayyida Maryam, peace be upon her, who had been raised under the care of Prophet Zachariah, peace be upon him. Jibril told her that Allah would grant her a great son without marriage. Maryam was very surprised, and after that she withdrew from people to a distant place. When she felt intense pain, she went to a date palm tree and said, "I wish I had died before this." But then a voice came from the unseen saying, "Do not grieve," and a stream of water flowed beneath her. When she shook the tree, fresh dates fell, giving her strength. After all this, one day, Prophet Isa, peace be upon him, was born. Maryam brought him back to her people. But when people saw her holding the child, they began accusing her and shouting at her. Seeing this, Maryam became distressed. But then a miracle of Allah occurred, and the baby in her arms began to speak. Hearing this, everyone fell silent. Their faces showed shock and confusion, and Maryam's purity was proven. After this, Maryam raised Isa. From childhood, he was a righteous and simple person. He ate little, wore simple clothes, and spent most of his time in worship. He used to make birds from clay and, by Allah's permission, bring them to life. He had so much knowledge that at the age of just 12, he debated with the great teachers of that time in ways that astonished them. Allah had given him many miracles. When Isa grew older, he began to spread Allah's message. He taught people monotheism and the laws given by Prophet Musa, which the priests had altered. He taught people to treat each other with goodness. When people doubted his prophethood, he showed them miracles. He healed the blind and the deaf by Allah's permission and brought the dead back to life. He made birds of clay and breathed into them, and they flew. He even told people what they had eaten and what they had stored in their homes. Once, some people said to him, "If you are truthful, then bring food down for us from heaven." Then Allah sent down a magnificent feast for them and said that if they still turned away from the truth, they would be given a painful punishment.
But when the priests of that time saw all this, they realized that their reality would be exposed. The wealth they had gathered by deceiving people was now in danger. So Prophet Isa, peace be upon him, began exposing their corruption and hypocrisy. In addition to this, people of that time had become immersed in sins and worldly pleasures. Asa called them to leave all of this, but they chose the world over the truth and did not accept his message. Even after seeing all these miracles, people demanded more miracles. Asa became very angry that even after all these signs, their hearts were not accepting the truth. This was because the Jews believed their Messiah would come as a powerful king with a great army to save them. But Asa, peace be upon him, was a simple man, living a very modest life. At that time, Palestine was under the Roman Empire. When the Roman ruler saw that one man was influencing people and they were following him, he saw it as a threat to his rule. Taking advantage of this, several Jewish priests went to the Roman authorities and incited them against Asa, saying that he wanted to become a king. After that, the priests made a plan with the Roman ruler to kill Asa, peace be upon him. During this time, Asa was eating with his companions when he told them that one among them would betray him. And that is exactly what happened. One of them, in exchange for money, led the soldiers to him. At that point, Allah raised Asa to the heavens and made another person resemble him. Many scholars say that it was the same person who betrayed him, while others say it was one of his companions who was promised paradise for his patience. After this, the Jews brutally tortured that man. They paraded him in the market in an injured state, insulted him, and placed a wooden cross upon him. Then they nailed his hands and feet to that cross and killed him. After this, the sky darkened and a severe earthquake occurred. This was a sign of the punishment that was to come. But Asa, peace be upon him, has been raised to the heavens for a specific time, and he will return to face the Dajjal. After the death of that man, discussions began among his followers. Some of them believed that Allah had raised Asa to the heavens. Others said that he had died. Some believed that he would return. In this way, different stories about Asa began to spread. One group considered him a prophet, another considered him a martyr, and a third group made him the Son of God. At that time, the Bible had not yet been compiled into a book. People had memorized the teachings of Asa orally, just like the Quran was also revealed in this way. The Quran, too, was compiled into book form years after the passing of the Prophet, peace be upon him. But the difference between the Quran and the Bible was that Allah himself took responsibility for the protection of the Quran, whereas this was not the case with the Bible. Because of this, people changed the Bible. Then, around 70 CE, a man who hated the followers of Asa so much that he used to torture them and put them in prisons, his name was Saul of Tarsus. He persecuted the followers of Asa because they worshipped one God and refused to worship the false gods of the Romans. Because of this, the followers of Asa suffered greatly.
But one day he claimed that he saw Isa, peace be upon him, in a dream, even though he had never seen him in his life. After this, he changed his name to Paul the Apostle. He began telling people that Isa was not a prophet, but the Son of God. He took this idea from the Greeks and Romans, whose false gods also had sons, such as Hercules. Using these ideas, he created a different form of Christianity, which people of that time began to accept because they were already familiar with such concepts. Paul told people that Jesus sacrificed his life for the forgiveness of humanity's sins, and that following his teachings was not necessary. Rather, believing in this sacrifice was enough. In this way, he changed Christianity completely. He wrote letters to different churches, and his ideas were later added into the Bible, which became part of the New Testament. However, in Jerusalem, some followers of Isa rejected Paul's ideas and continued to believe that he was a prophet. Among them was even a relative of Isa. But people did not pay attention to them, and instead accepted Paul's version of Christianity, which became widespread. By this time, the Bible had been given the form of a book, written 40 to 80 years after Isa, peace be upon him. It contained 4 Gospels: Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John. These Gospels contained different accounts about Isa, and also included many things that he had never said. His miracles, like raising the dead and giving life to birds, were used as proof to claim that he was the Son of God, even though these were miracles given to him by Allah. At that time, many other ancient Gospels also existed, such as the Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel of Barnabas, and the Gospel of the Hebrews. These described Isa as a prophet, but the church leaders declared these Gospels false and did not accept them. At that time, not all Christians believed Isa was the Son of God. Then, in the 4th century, Constantine the Great became the ruler of the Roman Empire. At that time, the empire was divided due to politics, wars, and religion. To unite the empire, he allowed people to freely practice their religion. This was the first time Christianity was openly practiced. Before this, Christians were persecuted. At that time, there were 2 groups among Christians. One believed Isa was a prophet, and the other believed he was the Son of God. From among them, a man named Arius stood up and began telling people that Isa was a prophet of Allah, not his son. Many people supported him, but the church leaders strongly opposed him. This caused conflict throughout the empire. When Constantine learned about this, he decided to resolve the issue. He called a great council, where more than 300 priests gathered. In that meeting, the idea of Arius was rejected, and Isa was officially declared the Son of God. After this, anyone who did not believe Isa was the Son of God had their scriptures burned and killed. This established a single form of Christianity across the empire. At that time, many versions of the Bible existed, but the church leaders wanted one official version. So the council selected 27 books that supported the belief that Isa was the Son of God, and rejected the others. This is why today only a few ancient versions remain that describe Isa as a prophet. Later, when the Bible was translated into Latin, that version was declared official by the Roman Catholic Church and spread across the world. Then, when Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, declared prophethood, some Christian priests from Najran came to debate him. They debated because the prophet, peace be upon him, considered Isa a prophet, not the Son of God. He presented Quranic verses to them, but they refused to accept. Then Allah commanded a mutual prayer, mubahala, where both sides would bring their families and pray that the liar be punished. So the Prophet, peace be upon him, came with Imam Ali, Sayyida Fatima, Imam Hassan, and Imam Hussein. But when the Christian priests saw them from a distance, one of them said, "By God, I see such faces that if they pray to Allah, even mountains would move. Do not debate them, or we will be destroyed." So they became afraid and agreed to a treaty. The plot to kill Isa, peace be upon him, was the biggest mistake of the Jews, because he was their last chance. Allah sent him with clear miracles so that they would accept the truth, but instead they rejected him. Then Allah sent punishment upon them one after another.
After Isa was raised to the heavens, the Jews later rebelled against the Roman Empire, seeking power. They briefly gained control of Jerusalem. When the Roman Emperor Nero heard this, he sent his son Titus with an army to Jerusalem. He besieged the city, conquered it, and destroyed the Jewish temple, something Isa had already foretold. Only one wall remained, which still exists today and is known as the Western Wall. The Romans killed more than 1 million Jews, enslaved thousands, and expelled them from Jerusalem. After this, the Jews were scattered across the world. Later, when Constantine accepted Christianity, the Romans began persecuting the Jews, blaming them for killing Isa. Thus, Jews and Christians became enemies for centuries. Jews were expelled from many countries like Spain, England, France, and Germany. They were forced to convert to Christianity, and those who refused were killed. They were denied important positions and faced severe oppression. This continued for about 1,000 years. Then, during World War II, the Nazis killed millions of Jews. Seeing this, Christians began to sympathize with them and started raising their voices in support of Jews. They began telling people that for the return of Jesus Christ, it was necessary for the Jews to rebuild the Third Temple in Jerusalem. From here, relations between Jews and Christians began to improve. Christians also started supporting the idea of a separate Jewish state. With their support, Israel was eventually established. Today, Christians have a major role in many Jewish plans, and on the Day of Judgment, Allah will ask Isa, peace be upon him, "Did you tell people to worship you and your mother besides Allah?" He will reply, "O Allah, I never said that. If I had said it, you would know it. As long as I was among them, I was a witness over them. Now you are the witness over them. The decision is yours, whether you forgive them or punish them."